I remember, I think the first time I felt like normal, we were at the Paralympic Games. Literally 82,000 in the stands to watch you run. The guy beside me, he's from the UK, so when they say his name, the crowd goes wow. 80,000 people are screaming, like screaming, screaming, screaming. The ground literally shook under my feet. And I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. Thousands of people that don't even know this guy accept him because of what he does and, you know, the message he carries. I was like, why not me?
You're alive. So right now, you can live or die. You can walk the earth or touch the sky. Right now, right now, right now.
Richard Browne knows adversity. He doesn't cover it up. He doesn't dress it up. He's among the millions of Americans who have a disability but are not disabled. He doesn't run from adversity. He outruns it.
Track is not a means to an end for me, it's my life. It has given me literally my life back. Before track, I was a shell of myself, like literally empty, like empty.
In 2007, a rainy day in Mississippi changed Richard's life forever.
It was a Monday, I remember, because the Falcons played. I'm a huge Falcons fan. And talking to my mom, she's a huge Saints fan, and we were just going back and forth. We were headed to the laundromat, and she was like, go put the clothes from the washer to the dryer, son. And it was just thundering pouring. And I was like, Mom, I have a my brand new Jimi Hendrix graphic tee on. Like, I'm not trying to get wet. Like I was fresh that day. So I jumped up on the sidewalk and just kept going. And I remember hitting the glass, but I didn't feel anything. So when I stood up, once my leg hit the glass, it ripped the calf muscle. I literally sat there and bled out.
Loss of blood led Richard to lapse into a coma. After 2 weeks, he awoke to find that his adversity had only just started.
And I remember them coming to the hospital bed and say, oh, you can go to a regular room today. And that day, I literally stood up and my leg, my artery, the clamps on my artery burst. And I had to stay in ICU another 2 weeks. The damage had been, it was so much at the time that it was just little that they could do. They told me I was gonna die. Every day. Every single day. I wasn't gonna walk. I wasn't gonna run. I wasn't gonna get out this bed. I was gonna die. Every single day, man. You blame yourself for what's going on. Like, my mom lost her house because of medical bills. Like, she lost her job because she was always at the hospital. And, like, my dad was driving back and forth. So, like, you feel like such a burden on a lot of people sometimes. Called my doctor. I was like, I'm coming in to get this cut off. Like, I cannot deal with this anymore.
The decision was made, and the 3-year fight was finally over. After 13 surgeries, Richard crossed the finish line filled with a different pain and a new start not yet in sight.
Growing up, we had a huge family, 9 brothers and sisters. We were always outside playing, like never in the house. I was one of the kids that all you had to say, I dare you, and I'm with it. like I'm with it. My favorite of all time has to be Primetime, Deion Sanders. And that's like the dirty bird, you know? I used to write the 21, on my shirt and everything. He had a flair about him. He had a show about him, but at the same time, he came to work and he worked hard. He showed that you can be yourself and have fun, but as long as you're working hard and the best at what you do.
Richard Browne. Richard Browne is so head and shoulders above everybody else.
From tragedy to triumph, Richard burst onto the blade running scene with the same flash and flair as his childhood idol. In 2015, there's been one goal, winning gold at this year's World Championships in Doha.
Richard Browne, he is going to pick up yet another victory here in 2015.
It's unreal how far Richard as an athlete has come in the time that I've managed him, but also how far the sport of blade running. These athletes are legitimate.
Richard's rivalry with Great Britain's beloved Johnny Peacock has elevated their sport. Richard has all the records, but Peacock has all the medals.
The great rivalry continues. Johnny Peacock and Richard Browne.
This rivalry with Johnny Peacock is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. How important is it for you to have something like that to drive you on?
Making sure it ain't no rival. Make sure I beat him every time we race. I'm really tired of hearing Johnny Peacock being the world champion. I'm tired of it. Just completely tired of it. I want the 100-meter gold medal. I want a world record in it. I want a 200-meter gold medal, world record in it, in the 4x1. So right now, 3 gold medals in Doha.
In Orlando, Richard trains with Star Athletics, coached by former Olympian Dennis Mitchell. Among a stable of stars, Richard stays stride for stride with the best.
Training in Star Athletics with Dennis Mitchell is an experience every day. Being in this group has changed my mentality of wanting to be the best at what I do to being the best, period. The group of guys that I train with are the best in the world. And the fact that those guys look at me like, you got 2 things. I don't care. We've been rock and roll, like whether you with us or not.
Go! Work! Go! Come on, keep working them arms! Go! Work them arms! Yeah!
There's some alterations that we have to make in terms of his technique because of the prosthetic, but the mental and the physical aspect, the rigors of training, our life commitment to what we're doing is all the same as any other athlete.
I was already a fan of Rich before he even came to the group, so to be able to see what he's accomplished in his own right and now be able to train with him is an honor for me.
Gat literally, he drops knowledge. Just walking by, all right, you did this wrong. Coming from another athlete, it just sounds a little bit different than coming from coach.
When you do that, then you can be able to use those angles and quicken them, but you're still using the same angle. You know what I'm saying?
I try to push him to be a better athlete, because when you are the best in your field, it's hard for you to think about how to get to the next level without getting pushed by a competitor. So you feel alone.
There's times, especially like on those hot days when we're out there rocking and rolling, where my body's like, Richard, why are you disabled? Like, I know you don't think so, but let me remind you. Things that we're doing, we're killing our bodies to do the same thing that an able body is doing, but we have to work harder because we are disabled.
Unlike other elite athletes, Richard receives no downtime. When he's not fine-tuning his body, he's fine-tuning the equipment. Prosthetic and Orthotic Associates is one of the most prestigious institutes of its kind. Founder Stan Patterson makes sure the same routine never becomes routine by making sure every moment matters.
Finding a good process is like finding a good coach. It's very few. Because Stan is one of the most knowledgeable processes in the country, hands down.
Richard has gotten tremendously stronger. And as he gets a little bit more flexible and as he becomes even a better athlete than he is right now, we have to be able to tweak that prosthesis to meet that need.
just here. Everything is done right here in the office. The fitting of my blade, the alignment of my blade. And I think that's the biggest difference once you get to a certain level. Everything is literally handmade right here just for me.
Richard and Stan take an approach that's as much artistry as athletic. Repetition and repeat, reshaping and resculpting.
How's it right there?
In there, I'm good. That's it. That's it. Knee flexion, I'm good. Even on pull, yeah. So yeah, that's it. Pour that. Yep.
All right, cool.
Today, Richard reigns. Dark skies have cleared. Now, he embraces the opportunity to raise U.S. Paralympics to national and international heights.
Hey, Richard, come over here. I got a message earlier from one of your fans, and I wanted to show it to you really quick, so here.
My man, Richard Browne, first and foremost, I want you to know that I'm excited and I'm elated to find out that you're a fan. And guess what? After doing my research, homework, and due diligence, I am a fan of yours. Come on, man. You've been down with Prime since the ATL, and now the way you've overcome adversity, my man, I'm speechless. To accomplish the things that you've accomplished, that means you had to be focused, you had to be steadfast, you had to just overcome all obstacles and block all the chaos and the ignorance and the adolescence out. Man, I'm proud of you. But guess what? There's another big step you must take. And I want you to dominate, man. I'm not talking about just win. I want you to dominate. And after you dominate, I want you to do that dance. You know that dance I'm talking about. Let me tell you something, Richard. I'm proud of you, man. I want to meet you. I admire you. I can't wait to just hug you and just let you know how much you inspire me. God bless you.
That's man. What's this? Oh, man. Oh, man.
In a sport where every second is fleeting, Richard Browne is living in the moment.
You're mentioned in the same class as the best in the world, you know, it's exciting. In the sport of track and field, whether it's Paralympics or able body or whatever, I want to be known as the greatest of all time. Coach thinks I can do it. My agent thinks I can do it. I think I can do it. So why not?
Good start from lane 3 from Jared Wallace. Peacock and Browne having to do. Here comes Browne, here comes Peacock. The two are coming back. Wallace, this is going to be a great finish. And a whisker between them on the line. But it's a win again for Richard Browne. And he will be going to Doha as favourite to win.
I walked over here, right? So my leg has to be close. Ah! I didn't know where my leg was. Yeah, I didn't, like, I walked. You know, like when you walk somewhere, you don't think about that you don't have a leg? Like, no? All right. We have both your legs, so. No?
listen to what you just said. You just listen to what he just said. Yeah, you walk somewhere, you leave your leg somewhere or something like that. What?
Like I walked over there, but my leg.
I know you've been doing this for a couple years. You know
I know,
what I mean?
but
I didn't get that one. I didn't get that one.
Like I walked over there with my running leg.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know where my leg, like this leg was.